Hey, I'm Kev, and welcome back to MXGP3. So we're in a sunny Britain. It's looking like it is in real life. We're having a heat wave at the moment, and it is very different conditions to what we experienced in our wildcard races here. We had a very tricky couple of races in the very wet conditions. Let's see if we can have a bit of a better time in a totally opposite conditions. Look how dry and dusty it's going to be around here. Probably take that corner much faster as well. So that's something I've already seen in these conditions compared to the wet. We're not going to have the big puddle here at all. We're losing the rear end there of the bike. We just about keep ahead of our guide, who is the Brit on home turf. You see, taking these corners in third gear rather than second, and just a bit more sure around these corners, kind of a bit more speed as well compared to the wet conditions. So coming to the trickiest part of that, as you can see, there's still some wet patches around it. Nowhere near as bad as in the wildcard races. So you go up the hill, or again being forced wide in that right-hander. Doesn't feel like there's a groove I can slot the bike into down there, but now we're going down the hill, going left and right. You can see how dry, how varied the surface is around the track. You can see in the middle part, a bit wetter. In some corners where you can see over these last couple of jumps, much drier as well. So nice to see some variation in the texture around the track as we do a 33.7. And return to the pit. I said the Hillman's got this round here. I think it's fair to say. Almost 3 seconds, over 3 seconds from the Swiss rider on the Suzuki. Frenchman on the ammo is again our rival. He's got to score 47 points, grab a win and second place in Britain to achieve our team's targets. Herdens is fourth, the Brit. Home turf in 5th, Tonko's 6th, Covington 7th, Petrov 8th, Fernandez 9th, and our teammate down in 10th, almost 5 seconds behind us. So pretty good qualifying. Let's see if we can back it up in the race. So here we are preparing for the first race in Britain. As who's getting the TV time? See, that's the Belgian rider on the MR. We've got the Swiss rider on Suzuki next to us. Got a Frenchman on the MR next to us as well as we get our shocking start. Erlen's got a superb start. Dutchman in the middle. No doubt he's going to get a hold shot as again the Swiss rider alongside us got a poor start on the Suzuki. You see Bashaway back into the top 10 and it is Herdens who gets the hold shot. There's now we're playing with the Hasvana boys of the Brit and Covington. They're battling for the top 5. And oh, someone's down, our French rival's down! Oh my god. It's already going the way of the hammer after a few corners in this first race. We've got Herdens behind us as we've taken the lead. Down the inside. Oh, got to be careful of that jump just before the corner. So easy to lose the bike there. Bit easier in MXGP2 compared to this game, but still a difficult corner to get right. It's now for the next 5 laps. It might be the Hillman show. It's just pulling away from the rest. Once again, Britain, it was a bit easier in MXGP2. It seems to be the case again in MXGP3. Perhaps the easiest track we've gone to so far. Just domination pace-wise. We've had it before. Early in the season, but I was with the second hardest difficulty. Now we're on the hardest difficulty. I thought they'd be a bit closer, but apparently not. As we cross the line and go on to the second lap. Nice use of flares on the left hand side. As we go down there, let's take this in 4th. Or maybe we can't take it in a higher gear, and as you can see, struggling to stay on the track with the boundaries of the track limit. And that corner so much easier in the dry. You can see just pivot on the back wheel on the right, get it down the second gear, get out of there. And that's what we're finding with so many of these corners now compared to the wet conditions. As at the time when I was doing that race, I was questioning whether the wet conditions were really that different from the dry, and still they're not as different as much as I expected, but still there is some difference from what I can tell. Right around now, there's slightly less grip available to you, taking some corners differently as well. That massive puddle causing that right-hander after you go down the hill quickly in 5th gear, over 50 miles per hour. As now we're going down the hill on the Tristy section, looking at our opponents, you can just see them flying behind us. But the Hammer's flying in the lead. Let's go over the jump. A bit wide. No, I could have carried much more speed into that left hander. Could have just kept it in 3rd gear. Like that. You can see we can use the ruts to advantage. You know, in the wet, that last corner is very tricky. When the dry, much easier. Let's get it down the 3rd gear this time. Didn't feel fast at all, but made it around the corner nicely enough. But this was the most difficult corner in the wet. Got out so many riders, and now you can see why. So many ruts, the water just sits in it. You can see in a couple places as well, even though we're in the dry. Of course it wouldn't be Britain without some wet weather, and some water around as you ride through it. Oh, that's a good run through that left-hander. That's what we've got to aim for. As you can see, it's a bit spread out behind on the left-hand side. It's all around halfway through this race. And, oh, I've gone into the foresight. I decided to try and advertise them. I'm very loyal to his sponsors, as you can see. Let's go over the jump. Should probably scrub over that. Biggest jump on the course. Actually, no. The jump that leads into the ultimate corner might be the biggest. But that jump's pretty close. As we're approaching the end of this 3rd lap. Oh, very wide. Poor line there. Yeah, this jump's a bit bigger. You know, we can take that left-hander out flat out in 5th. Is there a 4-second slot like that? Only in the 38, pretty average. I think that's matching everyone else time-wise. Just on that first lap, just built this around 5-second lead. Now we just got to protect it. The remaining laps. So we go very wide in that corner. But there's so many lines through that. That's one of the advantages with this Unreal 4 engine and what you're seeing in this game. Having, you know, a great engine to build all these tracks on. Inviting so many different lines like we've seen from the AI. Much more, a bit more random from them compared to MXGP2. And occasionally, you know, it was just stick to the racing line. It was a bit like, too much like circuit racing, you would say. When you can see in this game, you know, riders taking different lines to take advantage of trying to make moves and what they feel is the better line as well. Because that was not a good line going over the ruts. So yeah, I was seeing riders going, you know, 3 or 4 wide in a corner because there are 3 or 4 different lines, and that is fantastic. So you see some of the dust as well swirling in the air there. Nice little touch there. As I've played a bit of this game now, and still enjoying it, despite you can see perhaps too easy. MXGP2 was around the right difficulty for me, you know. If I rode well, I could be on the highest difficulty. And if I made no mistakes. If I made mistakes, then, as you saw, hard difficulty is pretty alright. At least for most of the season. So, yeah, maybe I just got to stick to the slower bikes when I get up to the MX level. To stick to the slowest bike. Maybe I just got to return to my team. Build that up. in the next transfer window when we can, the swap bikes might just go back to the home team, try and build that up. It's going down the hill in this final lap. Very tricky section there. You see Britain nowhere near as tricky as France. That was hell in some place, particularly in the middle of the lap where it's so tight. I don't see you can accuse Britain of having a tight circuit anywhere. You know, it's pretty wide, got a couple of lines going through every corner. Much more wide open compared to the previous few circuits. You know, we had Spain, we've had Italy as well. A terrible trio of circuits, as I described in the title of the last video, but Britain, not like that at all, as it is a nice easy win for the Hillman once again. Just a class of the MX2 field. Look, Betty in the camera shot there as he celebrates across the line, winning it by almost 15 seconds from Jonas. The second top KTM ahead of Herden. Tonkov top Yamaha in 4th, Bogues 5th. Then we've got the Belgium on the Yamaha in 6th, Osland 7th, another Yamaha. Look at that, 3 of them in the top 7. Good job by them. And the other TM, my teammate Bernardini in 8th, head of Montesedi. Then the Brit, disappointing result on home turf in 10th. And there's our rival, 14th for the Frenchman, just ahead of the Kawasaki of his fellow countryman of Fernandez. Terrible race for him, as we've already gained 18 points in that race. We could have a 100-point lead once we leave here. Let's see if we can achieve that and get the overall. So here we are preparing for the second race, hoping to get a much better start than we did first around, as it is the Belgian getting that TV time. As you're holding the clutch, build up the revs. Get in first gear, get away. It was better, but not as good as a Swiss one. They're not getting a good start for once, and it looks like the Frenchman's going to take the whole shot. No! It's like Herden's has pipped him as we're going 3 wide down the hill. And oh, you can see Bogues as well battling. Near the front, we've got Onus in front as we're taking the very wide line. And oh! Outside the Brit and the Swiss rider, who really did struggle in that corner. They go into the top 5, go into 3rd. There's right here comes Herden's back. We've got the Frenchman alongside me. That's going to be a cracking thumbnail. To go wide and I let the Frenchman back by. You've got the other Dutchman on the KTM leading for the time being. And it round the outside of the Frenchman. Not going to happen there. But down his inside in that tricky left-hander, take back 2nd place. Now going for the lead on this first lap. You can round the outside of the Dutchman. Oh, we're virtually touching wheels. But it looks like the hammer has pressed home his advantage. No, he hasn't. He's ran wide into the right and then into the left. Oh, so close. At least we've got to battle this first lap. Oh, he's taken my line. Let's allow the Frenchman to come in. Try and take the lead, but no. Ullman shuts that door on both of them. Into the next corner, flat out into their 4th gear in the right. And the lead going on to the 2nd lap for the hammer. And that might be it, folks. As you saw in the first race. Downhill. Oh, I didn't want to land on that mound, but just about got away with it. But it's still right on my tail. As you see the pack behind on the left hand side. Was that right hand side? Going up the hill. So we're going up and down. It is on the right hand side. Oh, that is nicely into the apex. As I said, sometimes you don't want to hit that with all these different lines, but when you're out in the lead all by yourself, it's pretty nice to do that. As all the South Africans down. A rare fall round here in Britain, as the basin is very wide, so you don't expect, you know, many falls. At least from battling. Maybe you make a mistake, run slightly wide, it could happen, but track is so wide, you don't know how you do that. As I'm about to demonstrate, I think. And that'll jinx myself. Yeah, oh. Look at that, even using the banks on the sides to kick up the bike there. And a bit wide in the final corner, but then using bank on the left hand side to keep it on the track surface. Keep it going. Now we're going down the hill. And down the second. So let's talk you around this track. You see, trying to keep it in second in most corners. Should have kept it in second there. Did not hook up that corner at all. Keep it in third, going out the corner. Almost missed a jump there. They've been a horrendous mistake. Now trying no braking, just get down the second through that corner, using the momentum. Down the hill. And over this jump. And immediately down the second as well. That thin ride is down. Down the second. Have to quickly get out to third. Then flat out over these jumps and let go. Left hander. Then into the right, down to fourth. And peg it. So it's disappointing for the KTM rider in the top four. Then slight break downhill, down to third. Again down the third. Again horrible lines here, but at least I think we're getting the gearing right. Then down the third again. Could dab the brakes into that corner. Don't touch the brakes into this corner, as it naturally makes you go around it there with the ruts. Then full pelt to the penultimate corner, down the fourth for the final corner. Then full pelt across the line. That's for a mid 34. Pretty disappointing, especially being the 33s. Let's try it on this penultimate lap. So it's way too slow into that right hander. Here we go down the hill. Let go of the power before that jump that leads into the corner, like you do for the corner coming up. Now it's the jump, big jump just before it. Here we go. Let's go down, then up. Let go of the power, land on that mound, pick up the apex. Should have got down to second. Doesn't matter. We get away and we can see the chasing pack on the left hand side. Not as spread out as in the first race though. Got some battles going on there behind. So we're going into the left hander. Oh, almost losing the bike there. Would have lost it in MXGP2, I think. It goes a bit wide there. Now go down the hill. You can see it's a bit more rutted now, the surface. That's one thing you definitely notice with this new engine as well, that actually is, the track conditions actually do change during the race. Go to MXGP2 where it barely happened, even though it was mainly doing sprint races. It barely happened more than one. But in this game, as you go across the line, it's pretty good. Just all the ingredients here to make a great MXGP game. Don't believe MXGP3 is that game. No, yeah, if there's more improvements to come from Milestone, it's pretty unlikely now that MotoGP 17 is out. But if there is, at least bring this game to very good status. At the moment it's above good and just under very good due to issues, due to features, due to the old habits dying hard, as you've seen in the customization in the menu when you create your rider. But yeah, there definitely are the ingredients to make a great MXGP game. Just got to wonder if Milestone are the team to do that, as they push forward with the MotoGP games pretty well. And they're on the old engine. I can't wait to see what they do with this engine with the MotoGP games. But the XGP games, this is the first big step. Let's see if they can continue doing that with 4 or 5. Making these games much better, even greater, like they have with a couple of MotoGP games in the past. As now we go across the line and take the overall. Nicely done for the Hammer once again. Look at that, he's rising off the replay screen. That's how high he soared in Britain as he won by almost 19 seconds from Herlin to Sussrada in third, Frenchman in fourth, Tonkov in fifth, Osland in sixth. Good weekend for the Swede. Then we got the Latvian down in seventh after that fall. The Brit in eighth. Horrible weekend for the Asphalt rider. What to say in ninth. And the Belgium in 10th from his teammate down in 13th. Not a good weekend for him, and not a good weekend for Kawasaki as well. Nuka Fernandez down in 18th for the Frenchman. As we look at the overall, yeah, I think we achieved our target. And look how far down the target rider is in 7th. We scored double the points of him. So we do leave Britain with over 100 point lead, 104 points ahead of the Frenchman, with Herlins in 3rd, the Brit in 4th, Bogues in 5th, Tonkov 6th, Owen is 7th, Covington 8th, the Swiss rider in 9th on the Suzuki. Get my Swedes and Swiss mixed up. But Bernardini in 10th, just by 2 points from his fellow Italian Monticelli. So a fantastic weekend once again for the Hammer. Can he get beaten next time out? Well, we're going to find out in Italy. South Watch, and I'll see you then.